Everybody, it's Mr. Marshall again. It's Stony Lane. Last time we were talking about how you can use what you know to come up with what you want to find out. Okay, and so last time we were talking about these ice caps on the planet Mars. Okay, that was the example I was using, and so I've decided that I was going to explore one of my questions. Here's the questions that I wrote last time, and I think what I'm going to look at is what changes happen on other planets. Okay. And what I want to teach you today is that I know a long time ago you started learning back when you were little about all the different parts of nonfiction. We call that text features. Okay. And when you were little, you had to learn what a table of contents was, what an index was, what a glossary was. But now that you're bigger, you're able to use that information to do research, to do really cool thinking. Okay. And so, what we're going to do today is we're going to think about my research question: what changes happen on other planets? And we're going to try and use some of the text features that we've learned about in our lives to try and find that information. Okay? Because now we're not just when you read nonfiction, you don't read the whole book cover to cover, right? You're looking for information. So you've got to be able to find where in the book that information is, right? That makes sense. So we're going to look at this book together today called Solar System. And if you're not reading about space, don't worry about that. It's a space book. You can do this in a book on any topic in nonfiction, right? So let's take a look at the book. And you also have to know that sometimes you're going to try and you're not going to be successful. It's not always going to work. So let's look at the index first, because an index is a pretty quick way to look for a subject and try and find it on a page. Okay, so let's do that. That's kind of one of the best ways that I know. So we're looking at changes on planets, right? And so I'm looking here, and I don't see, if I go to C for changes, there's nothing there that says changes. Or even ice caps, right? It's not there. So I do see that there are pages about different planets, right? Like there's Neptune, there's Pluto, what else? There's Saturn, right? There's all different planets that I could look up. Jupiter, Mars. I can go on these pages and find information. So I see that. Let's go to Jupiter. Okay, let's go to Jupiter. Page 26 and 27. Giant Jupiter. Okay, so I'm just skimming right now. Jupiter is the biggest planet. It is 1,300 times the size of Earth. That's a cool fact, but that's not about what I'm looking for, so I'm not going to write that down. It spins around quickly, so its days are only 10 hours long. Is that about changes? It's not about changes, so I'm not going to write that down either. Because it doesn't have a solid surface, it's impossible to land a spaceship on Jupiter. It's cool facts, but that's not what I'm looking for. So let's keep going. Let's go to a different text feature. Let's look at table of contents, okay? Because that might help us. So here's the table of contents. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look for a chapter title that sounds like it might be about changes. Okay, so let's see. Round and round, fiery star. That's not really about changes on a planet. Fast Mercury. That's not really a change either. Roasting Venus. Wait, that sounds like it might be a kind of change, right? So let's look at Roasting Venus, page 14. Let's go to page 14. Here it is. Let's read this. Roasting Venus. Venus is the closest planet to Earth. On Venus, the sky is yellow and cloudy. That's still not a change. The clouds trap the sun's heat, making Venus a very, very hot planet. We might be getting there now. Violent volcanoes. This subtitle here, that's another text feature, tells me that this part is about volcanoes. I can expect to learn about volcanoes, and I know when we studied the planet Earth, we knew that volcanoes help change the Earth or shape the Earth. Let's take a look. There are huge volcanoes on Venus. Some are much higher than any mountains on Earth. Venus's most famous volcano is called Mat Mons. It is more than 5.5 miles high. Sometimes on Venus, all the volcanoes erupt at the same time, covering the whole planet in lava. wait a minute, they cover the whole planet in lava. That's a change, right? That's a change because we know that on Earth too, when volcanoes erupt, that changes the Earth. So I'm going to write that down. I'm going to write that down that on Venus, volcanoes on Venus erupt and cover the whole planet with lava. So I just wrote down that fact. Okay. And so now I'm going to keep on reading and learn about how that changes Venus. That can be part of my research because I'm thinking about how planets change. Kind of like in Mars, the ice caps, right? You see what we just did? We used the text features from this book. And if you're not reading about space, it doesn't matter. Whatever you're reading about, there are text features inside your nonfiction book, right? We looked at the index, it didn't really help us. We looked at the table of contents and the subtitles on the page, and that helped us. Okay, so I can keep on reading and see if I can find more about that or about changes on other planets. Okay, that's how you keep going with your research. Try that out, and I will see you next time.